All right, today we have the new Rippaverse offering Goodyng The Polymath. And Goodyng was introduced in ISOM number 2. He showed up real quick. He's like a bounty hunter, firefighter, all-in-one sort of guy who's just doing stuff for hire, hero for hire, kind of. And so this is kind of his backstory. And so Mike Barron wrote this. Mike Barron is known for Nexus, The Badger, and a bunch of his own works that are great. Will Conrad's on art and Jay Brown on colors. And so it does start. It is a full backstory. You get this whole like perspective of Goodyng when he was a kid. You could tell he's a kid genius getting into school. There's a second fellow who gets introduced who ends up he's his bully, and he's dealing with this in the beginning. And he overcomes his bully, and it's an interesting story with that. Art's really good. I mean, it's just very standard comic fare. Colors look great. You see his bully get into this like military squad as it goes on, and ends up living a life where he's just all about fighting. Whereas Goodyng really is building an empire based on his brains. So it's a brains versus brawn type of story, and Goodyng ends up building some stuff here. Now the bad guy finds some weird tech sort of thing where he shows up, and that's his story. We get into Goodyng in college and get him with meeting his wife and things like that. And it's a full backstory that jumps around a little bit, is a little disjointed at times, but it builds into the character that suddenly he's got an enterprise, and he's a rich dude in Florspark, and he's got his technology that he's trying to sell, and it shows those different technologies a little bit. And eventually he does put on some like armor, and that's how he becomes his vigilante self. And so the guy, his bully, ends up showing up and attacking him at some point, and he takes him down. But there's another evil behind him who's going to come back, and like it threatens to come back and be the bigger threat. Now, as this happens, and this is the one kind of criticism I have on the book, it just ends. So obviously it's meant to be a multi-issue thing. But the problem I have with a multi-issue thing with like this kind of model where it's a graphic novel once or twice a year or whatever, is it's too long between issues. I really think the full story should be in something like this, and not like it's just to be continued and it just stops. You really need a little more to it. There was the arc with his bully kind of bad guy, but it was the way it was presented, that was like really half the story, and it was building towards this group coming at him to try to take him down, and then they just didn't show up. It just ended, and so it didn't feel like a cliffhanger per se. It just felt like it stopped so that they could do a second issue, and that works for like monthly comics, but like it doesn't really work in terms of something like this. But overall, like the way it's set up, the character backstory, as far as everything in the Rippaverse goes, the characterizations are probably the best out of these books so far. The motivation in all that and all the world building here is the best out of it so far. And that's been one of the other primary kind of like criticisms of the Rippaverse, is like the world building. It's pretty weird. Like, I mean, Texas is its own state, its own country. They've got their own laws and things like that, but like the world building really never comes into play in any of it, and doesn't really get explained in any of it either. At least this does this, at least from the smaller character perspective. So we connect with this character a lot better than the others within the universe so far. So I think this is actually the best effort. I just wanted some resolution to the next one. Obviously, that's going to be in the next book, so we'll see how that goes at that point. But these stories, like, again, when they come out this slowly, really shouldn't stop. There's no reason to like have a thick graphic novel that just continues like it's a single issue. That doesn't really make sense. Other than that, though, Mike Barron did a fantastic job. Like I said, characters and world building, top notch. Art looks good. Good storyline. This is the most relatable out of the books so far from the Rippaverse. I call it an 8 out of 10 overall. And look forward to reading the next one. All right, leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon.